welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today we'll be talking about the current cosmic energy. Without further ado, I'd love to pass out that to T for the transits of the week. Welcome, T.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Shayla. Hello, everyone. It's so good to have you here again. And there's a lot going on this coming week. So we're going to do things a little bit differently now, which is not so easy for me with a fixed Taurian nature, but we're going to do it different. But I'll tell you as we go along. All right. The first one we're going to talk about here is Uranus is going direct on the 27th of the month. And just know that the planet Uranus takes 84 years to make its trip around the sun, and it goes retrograde yearly for about 7 months. And during that time, and it's been retrograde since August 28th. Although we're saying it is on the 27th that it goes direct, remember that you may feel, pre and post shadows of the retrograde season. Uranus is about technology, the unexpected, rebellion, disruption. I think we've all been feeling that already. We can see that in our universe because it's not just, but it isn't solely focused on us in our personal lives, but it is of a larger nature. It is of a world, of a cosmic, of a, just much bigger nature because it is a slow moving outer planet. Uranus, for many, has not been easy, especially for where it's been in Taurus, who like things to go steadily, who like things to go traditionally, deeply earthbound. So that's been a little bit difficult, I'd say, these transits. Although when it's retrograde, it's something that we take in, right? It's not so much as what we're seeing outside, although, of course, we can say we're seeing it outside because we are. It's a time for us to regroup, reassess, and look at ourselves, on the insides. Uranus loves to shock, loves to get things moving, going, that you may say, oh, no, 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 this is not for me. And Uranus is saying, yes, it is for you. It is for your best. It's just kind of like Saturn, right? These planets that know better than we do. Uranus is an outer planet, so most of the action is experienced at the larger level, as I said, and not at the personal level. Being that it's been near Jupiter, it's been in the same house as Jupiter, it has been able to bring luck and opportunity. So although we may not view it as that, that's what it actually is. And I guess, Shayla, we were actually talking about that, like what we're all experiencing personally right now. It's like, no, I don't want it. But Uranus is saying, yes, it's for you.
Absolutely. And I giggled a little bit as you were saying that, T, because as transformations that we are going through and changes, Uranus is about being uncomfortable, especially with Uranus going direct in the sign of Taurus, practicality. That in my personal life, I'm going through almost like a transformation of some sort, and it's really, really uncomfortable for me. And things are just feeling normal, but also feeling new and need to get out of my shell. So Uranus just wants us to, depending on what transformation we're all going through or changes, it wants us to be practical. It wants us to stick to the things that are valuable to us, even if they're uncomfortable. To go through the flow of life, looking at where have we abandoned certain things and how to reapply those things in our life. And when I mean things, I put general terms so people can fill in the blanks. What is in your life that you have dumped to the side or said, oh no, I'm not going to do this. This is too much for me. Now Uranus is going to push us to move that forward, to move the wheel. And I'm getting here the wheel of fortune, things forward. Even like the Fool, moving the Fool towards a new path here. And it's going to ask us to, to stick to it for some time, to value it because we are in the sign of Taurus. And the flavor that I received here is adding vanilla syrup into maybe a beverage or something that you like, or even the smell of vanilla on us. It's bringing that sweetness, but it's also asking us to stick to that sweetness, even if it's uncomfortable. And sweetness can look different for everyone, right? For instance, I've been doing a 21-day abundance meditation group on WhatsApp, and that has really sparked up Uranus there, where it's just like changes coming in and things really opening up, and it's sweet, but at the same time, uncomfortable and new. So I would suggest to go with the flow, stick to what it is, even if it's uncomfortable, and eventually something will come out of it that's you'll be like, wow, actually did that. You'll persevere through it and see good abundance, good energy coming from it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just want to add, you made me you reminded me of my own oracle, the Graciela La Gitana cards. And one of the cards is the position card. And in the
Mhm.
position card, she's standing in front of like what is a wheel of
Yes.
fortune. And the two terms that you see are
Mhm.
love and fear. So it's like, where am I going to go with this change? Where am I going to go with this disruption? Am I going to be in fear of it? Am I going to be forgetful? Am I going to be able to handle it? Am I going to get along with these people? All of those things that, we talk about. Um, so like, what is your position? Right? And it's in, it's been in Taurus.
Mm.
And that is where we can keep our feet grounded and we can keep our feet on the earth and keep centered. And that'll make everything all the more easier. So thanks for that reminder.
Yeah, beautiful. I remember that card is a very beautiful card.
Or I should say, my daughter, the artist, thanks you. The next one I'm going to talk about today is Sun in Aquarius squares Jupiter in Taurus, and that is from the 25th to the 27th. So our energies when the Sun is in Aquarius is creative and it's directed towards social welfare, especially through innovation. So the image that I got was, we can't hide from, right? The numbers of people who are rebelling against the war in Israel and Gaza, and how do they do this? These people are lining up. They're making big groups. They're blocking the bridges, they're blocking the tunnels, and they're saying, listen to us, ceasefire, stop it, stop the killing. We are killing our own. And Sun in Aquarius values humanity, and it's bent toward using our energies to what is right and what is true, and what is true on the world stage, not even just our own personal issues. So I don't know why I'm just feeling emotional about this, because it's like, for me, it's like seeing it in action, right? This larger, this is the challenge. This is what we're challenged with, is to act with a higher mind regarding possessions of land, right? Taurus, land, property, what is rightfully ours? What is it that we want? Where does our egotism and our beliefs say that we are the most valuable? No, that's not really true. We are all valuable. We are all sharing this planet. We are all sharing the lands. I see Sun in Aquarius squaring Jupiter in Taurus during this transit as indicative of, like, we need to believe that we belong to each other and that we need each other to live and to thrive. So that's what came from me in this particular transit.
I like the flavor that you brought in with even the human experience here, looking at that from a perspective of like Jupiterian energy, which is like, if we think about Jupiter, we can also think about Sagittarius, which is diversity, which is different people with different ideas, different things. So kind of combining those frustrations that are there, right, in the world and the things that are happening right now. And on an individual level as well, it can apply to where are we limiting ourselves in the ideas of, even again, the word abundance or prosperity or expansion. Where have we limit ourselves in that? Are we doing this because this is a set pattern, or is it because we've been told these limits, right? So it's pushing through and feeling overwhelmed because this push of fulfilling one's need, the ego, the id, and having too many options or having too many things open or doors open, and some of them are lit and some of them are not. How can we ground in this? How can we be more logical about it? Because here the Sun in Aquarius is like logic, step by step, opening just 3 doors at a time rather than 5 doors or 6 doors here. Yes, it is a fight, it is frustration here, but it's a good kind because we're developing something within the self with the Sun.
Beautiful. I like that. I like that. Again, it's the same thing. It's like, how many, like you just said, how many doors do you have to open at once, right? And which door are you going to concentrate on and not scatter your energies? It's just
Yeah.
really important. What's happening here, we're having transits with personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Capricorn. They're all in Capricorn, right? So we're going to talk about that and what that means, and a little bit about how that affects the transits in general, right? So Mercury in Capricorn, remember, is about authority and voice. It may be reserved. It may be self-sufficient. It may be formal. Mercury in Capricorn may have difficulty articulating what they need to say, and words may need to be measured. There's a keen sense, right? There's a keen sense, but there's that restraint. So that keen sense can lead to self-limitations because it's just like, it's not as flagrant, right? We're not doing that Sagittarian, like, woo, energy where it's just like bursting and blooming. It's just reserved and a little reticent. And that squares Chiron from the 25th to the 26th, and it trines Uranus in Taurus from the 28th to the 29th. So these are two transits with Mercury and Capricorn. So look at that regarding how you want to express your needs in terms of Chiron and Aries. We always talk about the wounded healer. We talk about things that come to us through lifetimes that we have to heal. It's an evolutionary process, right, of healing. So how can you use your voice and authority with diplomacy to say what it is that you want? And then a couple of days later, and these are all like really quick transits that are happening. There were a day or two in Capricorn trining Uranus and Taurus. How to use that energy for the betterment of your relationship with self, especially I'm hearing right now, so that you can talk it out, so that you can use it and say, this is what I need, this is where I'm going. Use that centeredness, use that grounding that I just spoke about. As we say, your Uranus and Taurus can be disruptive, can be uncomfortable. So how can I use my voice to most better articulate my needs, is what I'm seeing with these particular transits kind of together, although there's like a little blip a day or two, whatever. But, again, because of the pre and post shadows of all of these transits, it's not going to be on January 25th, I am going to feel this thing, right? It's already starting, right? It's going to happen for a few days later. So just be aware of that. So that's what I've got for the Mercury and Capricorn transits for the week.
Uranus, it's the umbrella to all of these transits and how they play a part to us and all these personal things that are happening in our actions, in our sense of like love, values, money, and then the way we're thinking. So it plays this big role in, I guess, stability. It's all in these earthy signs. It's like the vision. It's like it carries some Capricornian energy, but also now Uranus is activating that vision for us through these personal planets, especially with Mercury in trine with Uranus. Like the ideas are flowing, the light is turning, the wheel is turning, and old ideas that we thought were excellent become now less important as new ones come in. So it's like we're going through different avenues of how to work through life, because earth signs are all about the body, the home, life, the practical, the earth, the 3D, 4D. So it's just making that nice umbrella of changes that are happening with us, especially with our ideas. If we haven't been practical enough, Uranus will activate that. Also, Mars is activating a lot of these planetary flavors. Mars as those spices we put in our food if we eat spice, where that thing that gives it flavor at the end.
That's great. Venus and Capricorn next does a lot this week. From one day to the next, to the next, to the next. It's like Venus is dancing in Capricorn, but she's doing her dance. What kind of dance would you say that she's doing here? I would say she's being careful in her steps. Venus is being careful in her steps this week. Venus in Capricorn, as we spoke about last week, actually, she's cautious, she's dutiful, she can seem aloof, right? And we know her as the honey to our relationships. She's the honey to our business dealings, whatever financial transactions, services, making things happen now. She's a little impersonal in her approach here. But Venus in Capricorn is loyal. She's looking for commitment. and facing work and responsibilities and relationships, and not only personal relationships, but business relationships also. Just keep that in mind as Venus in Capricorn conjuncts Mercury in Capricorn. So you're going to have that flavor in your conversations, in voicing the things that need to be said regarding your business transactions, your relationships, the people that you love, the people that you want to maybe yell at. Venus in Capricorn is saying, step back, you know, you be that one to keep the head here at this time. The honey's reserved, the honey's in the pot, but you'll know exactly when to use it and how to use it, and use it sparingly. That's from the 24th to the 25th. She then sextiles Saturn in Pisces from the 26th to the 27th, right? She's just sashaying her way across here. And that's sweet. It's a time for her, I believe, to sit down and to dream, to sit down in Saturn, take a moment to dream, to plan, to say, where am I right now? But with a flavor of beauty, of softness. You don't have to be hard in order to get your point across. We don't have to yell what our dreams are. We can say, this is what, I need to do. This is important to me, right? And say it and mean it. Venus trines Jupiter in Taurus, which is another great possibility, slice of time, where you're planning your transactions, your service, is given a opportunity. It's given a boost. Again, remain centered. And that's the 27th to the 28th. And then from the 29th to the 30th, Venus in Capricorn conjuncts Mars in Capricorn. Shayla was just talking about that, Mars in Capricorn. And what does that mean, right? Mars we see as the warrior. And she's sitting right next to the warrior. And they're of accord. They're not, this is a conjunct. They're helping each other out here. They're not fighting each other. They're talking it through. That's at least how I'm seeing it. So look to where your warrior is as you plan, as you create what that is that you need to create.
That was beautiful. Like if you can explain it, it's like wearing like a lace dress for Venus this time. These are really good transitions that she's going through. I feel different flavor of holding hand and support, seeing where we need to see the truth for what it is and work through it, learning to work with that. Because we have Saturn, we have Jupiter. These are big teachers in our life that Venus is having a conversation with. And then we have ones like more personal ones, which is Mercury and Mars. So it's like teaching us something. Venus is sitting here learning something. And as Venus is learning something, this can be the symbol of us, right? Venus can symbolize us and what we're learning. What are we picking up as we're going through this journey? And again, I'm going to go back to the Fool's Journey here in the tarot. It's the first card and it is connected to Uranus. It's giving us that, okay, you're on a boat, you're ready to go, and you're ready to pick up knowledge or new materials, and then you collect all these things, and then at the end you make something with it. So she's again wearing that lacy dress, that beauty within her, but at the same time having like a construction hat on. Like I'm ready to do this. I have all the tools and I'm ready to go for it. Being an earth construction, right? Building things and learning as she goes and being free to do that. And again, it has that umbrella of Uranus.
Right. I love it. I love it. Like really honoring all those parts of yourself, right? The construction hat and also the lace dress. Like we can do both. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
Gracefully, you can do both. So the last transits we're going to talk about today are Mars in Capricorn. And let's talk about Mars in Capricorn. We started to hear this warrior is strong, self-disciplined, It goes about making things happen. There's a sense of diligence here. The energy of this warrior is directed toward achieving personal goals, material goals, and long-term achievements. So it squares Chiron from the 23rd to the 26th. How are you using your warrior self to heal those wounds? Are you looking at all the parts? I'm thinking of that old game, Battleship or whatever. I mean, it's just like all these like little maps and strategic movements. You're not just going out and, making a big kaboom, but you're planning. There's stealth here, there's stealth involved. Um, that's something to look at. It's squaring Chiron. It's a challenge, but it's something that you can do. And you may have to get outside help for it. It's not like something we can all do for ourselves. And journaling, I love journaling. Journaling is so healing, especially, you're able to look back. And sometimes we need to have another person sitting in front of us that is going to hear us, that's going to give whatever feedback that we need to have as we face our battles, right? Because I'm talking here about inner battles, is what I'm seeing. Mars in Capricorn then tries Uranus and Taurus from the 28th to the 31st. And again, it's like using those assets, using those good created parts of ourselves, right? What have we learned over the years? We've learned that if we lose our heads, we lose everything, right? Because that's the first thing that we need. Keep your head on straight, have that little construction hat on, or that little, your warrior hat, however it is that you see it as. Because for you, I mean, I know it's in Capricorn, and Capricorn is of the earth, but we're talking to everybody here, right? So maybe your Mars is in Pisces. Maybe you have a nice little fish hat or something, like signifying the fish, like going deep. Like we all know what our Mars is. So think about that, knowing that the energy is of Capricorn, where it is about being strategic, where it is about being self-disciplined, and it trines Uranus and Taurus, and that can help us with our opportunities, with our growth. We've been growing, we've been making, we've been creating, and then something happens and it changes and it changes. And oh my goodness, that's what I just saw right here is big change.
Mm.
28th to 31st,
Mhm.
whatever that means for you personally, but also in the larger cosmos with energies, with the people we're not separate from. So I just saw that as just like a disruptive change, but disruptive change can also be very excellent for us all. Um, or it could be challenging. I would always love to hear back from you guys. Like, what was it for you? Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
what I've got.
And the changes that, you want to post what changes you're going through, leave them down below or email us directly. Here we're working with and we're activating all of this with Mars. So Mars, you can think about Mars as a key to your motorcycle, making sure that the engine is nice and strong and it's activating all these planets for us, all these situations for us in areas where we have limited ourselves. Where have we limited things? Where have we said, oh no, that's not feasible? Oh no, that we can leave that for later. Has there been any loosening up of energy, like not feeling energetic? Mars is going to rev up that motorcycle for us. It's going to activate all of it. And with Mars in this fight with Chiron, is there's going to be a lot of release. And Chiron plays a big part also. I'm going to add that to Uranus going direct because they make an interaction with one another that has to do with release. A lot of old stuff in the past that will be releasing and new changes are coming in. And again, I spoke about change as uncomfortable. That is what Mars is activating. And it's okay. Like T mentioned, sometimes disruption could be really good for us. It shows up in different ways, right? It could be very small or it can be huge. But what I feel here is important is to maintain our feet on the ground because we're in still earth element. And again, yeah, like the action that we have, the things that we want to do. Like this is like powerhouse for motivation, for willpower. Okay, so for us to remember that we're not limited by what we think, just not only in the body, but outside in the universe. The universe is literally that space in us when we meditate. That is the universe, or the sky can be the universe. So working with these beautiful flavors in your new transformations, new changes, and keep your foot on the ground as best as you can. Do different things that can help you do that. And I always like practical things because it helps. So we can do things that keeps maintaining our body fit. Breath work. I've been breathing a lot lately, and I tell people I'm not mad. I'm just breathing because I need to breathe out energy. Okay, so don't take it personal. Right? It could be reading. Reading is awesome. It could be, talking to a good friend or eating, going out and exploring the world around you. So do what can helps you maintain a level of stability at this moment. Okay, with Uranus is like coming in there.
Great, great. Thank you. Thanks for being with us. And let's see, I am open for consultations. Just teresavarela.com. You can schedule it, and happy to talk to you, do either a spiritual consultation where I use the, tarot, or just whatever I hear from spirit. Your reading is dependent on you, what you bring to the table. Also the astrology consults, and I love doing couples. So any couples out there, just let me know. So that's what I've got. And you, Shayla?
Awesome. So I will be again open also for consultations, phone, in person, by text, however people are comfortable, reach out to me. I will be linking both T and my information down below. And remember to check out Patreon for exclusive case studies, episodes, and content. The most recent one we have is Ricky Martin, which I love and thought his chart was amazing. And Diane Keaton. So those are the most recent. Then we also have Duarte Mercado there available. And just again, head down below to the description box where you will find that information. And if you're watching this podcast and you love it, like it, share it, like it, subscribe. And above all, con mucho, mucho sabor. Sabor Astrology.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one.